All right, guys, it has been quite a while. Strong Life Podcast. Here we go. Zach Evanesh. It's been a long time. I think it's been a month. And I got to be honest with you, sometimes I just lay low on recording these Strong Life Podcast episodes. I'm recording through Instagram Live, posting it up, and utilizing Zoom. So we did a Q&A, which I have not done for months on end. And this, for me, is the last week of summer. Next week, go back to the high school, start coaching. And I think things are going to get crazy. You know, Governor Murphy announced that gyms can open back up at 25% capacity in the first week of September. And it's going to be nuts. And that's it, guys. It is going to be crazy. Let's get into these questions. And let's see what we got. I'm pulling these questions from Instagram at zevanesh. And as always, we have a great variety of questions: business, life, training, of course, coaching, some great stuff. First question from the Chris Vangsness. What are some things you would do with high school football players in season, knowing that they are practicing and getting some additional lifting at school? So this obviously goes for being in the private sector, because I also coach in the school. I don't want to, quote, double dip and repeat things they've already been doing. So I'm usually doing more accessory-based work, true speed training, and mobility recovery with my guys. So that's a good question, Chris. And I like what you're talking about with you don't want to overlap what they're doing at school. And I know when I'm coaching at school, it's different. I got in there last year near the end of football season. I would train the team for about 25 minutes, and I would basically do like a speed / submax strength session with them. Their speed work is really the training that they're doing on the field, all the sprint work. But believe it or not all teams are practicing hard. Not all teams are getting enough of that speed work. But I found that athletes, football players especially, have lost a lot of strength by the time the middle of the season rolls around, not just the end of the season. So you want to keep up with some submax strength work. You could do some real short speed and power training. And then basically you're assessing the athlete every day, football or not, to see what they need. With regards to training tools, what am I utilizing at the underground is the way I explain it to the kids and their parents is that we will be doing complementary work so we don't overlap. Now, let's say they're squatting at school. I don't know if they're squatting all the way down, especially if a kid tells me he just squatted 365 and 2 weeks prior he squatted 205 with us. So trust me, these kids are not getting, almost twice as strong within 2 weeks. So if they squatted, I might say, okay, we're going to do the belt squat, the goblet squat. I'm going to do a lot of unilateral lower body work. Not a lot, but that's going to be my go-to lifting. So reverse lunge for 2 sets of 8, Bulgarian split squat or step-ups for 2 sets of 8. We're also going to get a lot of posterior action, back extension, kettlebell swing, hip hinging motion versus a glute ham raise, which is flexion, which if they're running on the field, they're already getting a lot of flexion. So you want to be complementary, and depending on your situation, I'm in a school as well as private, and that kind of dictates a little bit of what I get to do. All right, next question. My friend Moisha, you can bring a horse to water, but you cannot force them to drink. Unfortunately, I don't think the horses I'm around, pun intended, can be brought to water. Question is, how can one get their friends and loved ones on an exercise lifestyle? That's a great question. And I think the key is demonstrate by example, lead from the front and become the change that you want others to become. And give you guys a little story of my son. And my son just turned 12 2 months ago. And when he was younger, you guys may have seen a lot of videos of him coming with me to the gym. He'd get really excited. He's 7 or 8 years old. He'd get pumped up. It was very novel and exciting for him to be around all the loud music, the kids lifting. It was exciting. And so that being said, he didn't really want to come to the gym the past 2 years. He, wants to do his own thing, wants to be around with his friends, so on and so forth. Well, last Sunday, he hit his first home run out of the park. And for like 2 years, maybe even 3 years, that ball was hitting the fence. It was hitting the warning track, so like 2 to 3 feet from the fence, but he was not getting it out of the park. And so my wife was working with him. My wife played softball. My wife was working with him on hitting. I'm outside catching the ball. He's a pitcher. He nailed me in the shin. I mean, literally like destroyed my ankle. It's still swollen 2 weeks later. And when he got that taste of success, he hit that home run, the light bulb went off. We came home that day. My wife had made pasta with clams or mussels. I don't know. I don't really eat seafood. I'm not much of a shellfish kind of guy, but she made that stuff. We went home. I ate a plate. My son ate a plate. I was full. I was done. My son goes and after me grabs another plate. I'm like, dude, you're not full yet? He's like, I got to hit more home runs. So I was like, oh, dude, it's on, big dog. And that success changed him. Then after dinner, he went and took a shower. And then I saw him later on upstairs in his room. He's got a couple of these. And for those of you listening, I'm going to show you guys. This will be up on Instagram and YouTube. He's got the Captain's a Crush. He's got a crush gripper that I bought him years ago. I saw him upstairs walking around, crushing it. And so all of a sudden, he got that taste of success, and that's what people need. They need somebody to believe in them. They need somebody to carry them a little bit. Yes, at the highest levels, look, I can't keep forcing you to want to be great, even my son. And so what I learned was I was telling him how to do everything, telling him too much. Now he comes to the gym. That's been this week. And I let him do whatever the hell he wants to do. Here and there, I sneak in a little advice. He actually copies the workout from the board that we use. We use Wodify. And he does that workout. Just does it real light. Then he comes out later. He goes into the office. He goes to 7-Eleven. He gets himself a little snack. He might even get himself a candy bar. I don't care. He's young. Let him get it. Let him kind of fall in love with the process. That's the thing is today is we hand everybody everything. We hold their hand through everything. There's no fun in that. I look at these old magazines I've got in my room, the old school strength books, and the beauty behind learning was like reading magazines, learning about another lifter, another bodybuilder, another powerlifter, reading up until 11 p.m., midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., just reading all night and imagining what I'm going to do the next day, training. And so that's where I think my son needed to be. This is where people needed to be. They need to kind of get a little bit of oomph, but they got to want to do it. And so the heartbreaking news is we cannot save everyone. That is the heartbreaking news. And number two, you got to give people the opportunity. And I think a lot of people are struggling now. They don't know how to train at home. They don't know how to do that stuff. If you've been training at home for a while, you have this innate experience and ability to just motivate yourself and do the work, even if you're not motivated. Other people who are struggling on this whole fitness lifestyle, they need to start simply by walking. That's it. And then little by little, they get introduced to little bite-sized pieces of training. It's hard, man. No doubt about it. Next question. Caber Fitness UK. Do you think a driven mindset can be taught, or is it something people just have? Follow up. Can you remember a time some changed from not being driven to having a fire lit? That's a great question. I think yes to both. People can be taught how to get fired up, and then some people have it. And listen, the key is, Dan John has said this before, and I've had this conversation with previous podcasts with my buddy John Wellborn. Dan John spoke about three things that shape an athlete, and it's geography, opportunity, genetics, okay? Geography, opportunity, genetics. Geography. You see me post wrestling videos of kids from Georgia in the mountains, little kids, 5, 6, 7 years old, going nuts, beast mode, right? Why? It's their geography. That's what they've been born into. That is their normal. And because they do it on the regular, it's like you're either the hunter or the hunted. You get tired of getting your ass kicked, so you start dishing out the ass kickings. All right? Genetics, plain and simple. Some kids are genetically gifted, others are not, others are middle of the road. All right? When you're genetically gifted, you're beating and winning in that sport. And so experiencing success is exciting. Just like in business, I've got all the motivation in the world when my business is pumping and I'm making a lot of money. But when you're struggling, you think you're more motivated, but you actually feel like, this thing is beating me up. I'm getting my ass kicked. You got to fight back. Like it was at Rocky 2 or Rocky 3 where Rocky just kept coming back at Apollo. And Apollo in that like 12th round was like defeated. He put his head down. He couldn't believe that this guy would keep fighting back. I was not tough when I was a kid. Through the years of wrestling, I got tougher and tougher. I started learning to actually implement those lessons when wrestling was far over to help me get tougher in life. So I do believe you could teach it. I have not seen kids do a 180, but I've had this conversation before with coaches. And I remember when I was at Rutgers and I interviewed Donnie Pritzlaw for you guys, by the way, you guys need to listen. And Donnie and I said, Zach, you never know when a kid is going to turn the corner. He's like, a kid could be a complete train wreck for the first 2 to 3 years, and all of a sudden his junior or senior year, he turns around and he's like your starter, he's your champion, he's your leader. He's like, you never know. And the gist of that conversation was like, yeah, never give up on a kid. Never give up. Number 2, when that question was asked to me on Instagram, I've been training the kid for about 1.5 years, maybe longer. I think it's 1.5 years. Really just such a chill kid. I mean, so laid back, consistently late, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just a lot of these, not a lot of oomph, not a lot of energy. But then this week, today's Thursday, Monday or Tuesday, he showed up 2 minutes early. Okay. To me, that's being on time, but he showed up early. Then he just killed the workout. He's climbing rope, lifting heavier. He did extra. He was like pushing the sled, sprinting hard. I said, damn, bro. I'm not going to mention his name. And I love this kid regardless. I really do. Kids have a lot going on. He's like, damn, bro. I said, damn, bro. Amazing, man. You're killing it today. How come? And he's kind of shy. He's like, I don't know. I just want to do better in general. I said, what'd you say? I can't hear you. I couldn't hear him. So I just want to do better in general. I go, what do you mean in general? Did something happen? No, I just made up my mind. I think he got tired of being less than average, and all people have potential, but potential is bullshit. Everything comes down to what do you do or what do you not do? And so it was just great to see him do that. Now, let me give you the flip side. Sometimes I scholar athletes for many reasons. Could be something going on at home, family, an administrator from a school reaches out to me, a favor, blah, blah, blah. Well, I had this kid that did not show up all summer. Well, he texted me 2 days ago or something, trying to sign in. I can't sign in. I said, yep. I told Sarah, our assistant, to cancel anybody's membership who has not been showing up. And if you're not showing up, I can't help you. And eventually, I have to stop chasing you. Because if I gifted you something for free and you can't respect it, and your excuse is, I have a lot of things on my mind, you're not going to have more free time outside of summertime. And so sometimes you need to take something away from people. Because when you give it to them for free, what do I say? People don't respect free, which is why with all of the information we have on YouTube and this, that, the internet, we still have people that are struggling with health problems, can't get motivated, don't know how to train properly, say they know how to train, but still can't train properly, pretty interesting. And people think, oh, it's free. I'm not going to buy this program or that program from Zach. I'll just get it from YouTube for free. Those people don't succeed because there's no skin in the game. They haven't invested in themselves. And by the way, I've also seen very tough kids turn the corner in a negative where they lose their edge. They lose their toughness because they go through a tough time and they spiral downward. They get involved in drugs and partying and they just destroy everything. And the worst part about being a coach is you can't save everybody. You want to save them all. And the unfortunate truth is you cannot. And that sucks. It sucks because you start to question why, why would that happen to that kid? Why would that kid get murdered? Why would that kid become addicted to drugs? Why would that kid get into the car accident? Why did all this happen? We don't know. And so it's difficult. I try to just not worry about getting caught up in controlling the uncontrollables. That's the issue there. All right, let's get to the next question. How do you deal with an athlete that is uncoachable? Another great question. I have some kids like that. And I've learned that it's, piggybacking on the last one. I have kids. They want to go heavy. They want to go heavier, even though they just did their last set of squats, which was like a half rep, but they still want to go heavier. I've learned that if you want it only your way, you want it perfect, you push them so much, you'll drive them away. They'll just disappear. And so what you got to do is say, hey, man, let me record this set so I could show you what we're talking about, and then I'll text it to you. So I want you to understand, I'm not trying to offend you. You can't go heavier. You need to get lower on that squat, okay? Or I say things like, listen, man, you've been late regularly. You're consistently not showing up. I just want to tell you that what you're doing here will not fly when you're on the football team, the baseball team, the basketball team, whatever team. It's not going to happen. Your coach is going to, light you up and down and kick you off the team. So you need to practice excellence here. Can you do that? Whereas 10 years ago, you know what I would say? If the kid showed up and didn't sign up or had not been showing up, I'd say, listen, man, past 3 workouts, you're signed up, you're not showing up, you're showing up late, you're not listening to me. I'll let you train today, but I'm not helping you. And you can't do the program we're doing. You got to do your own thing. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, but I think I'm a little bit more forgiving now, probably because I'm a father. I have like a different thing going on in my heart. But you need to be tough on some of these kids so they learn. Okay. And let me just kind of reread that. And so what do I do when they're uncoachable? Sometimes you just can't give them all the attention. You're always trying to change them. Sometimes that's what they want, is they want more and more attention. And I'm going to give attention to the kids that are listeners, that are coachable. And then other things happen. I send out emails to our gym newsletter. I talk to parents about the kids being coachable. If the kid consistently is struggling with us, I reach out to the parents. I reach out to somebody else who is a person of influence to this athlete. And then here and there, if somebody's uncoachable, I reach out to parents, at the underground. I don't do this at the school. And I'll say, listen, John Smith is just XYZ has been happening. I've spoken with him multiple times. He's not getting better. And then I give them an option. I say, at this point, I'm really considering taking a break for a year until he's emotionally ready. Let me know your thoughts on that or what you would like to do instead. Some parents opt and say, you know what? He's disrespecting you. He's not respecting the money. We're investing in him. We're going to take a break. That's better than what I used to do in my early days and just fucking kick a kid out and just say, get the fuck out. Forget it. You don't want it. You don't fucking care. Peace out. I'd flip out. I was crazy. And that doesn't work nowadays. It doesn't. Kids are different. People say, oh, what's that mean? Kids are not different. Parents are different. Whatever. Kids are different. All right? They're different. The real Steve D.U. What are/is the most effective strength training during the season? How often and how long should the strength training practice be during the season? Then I asked him, who are we talking about, high school or college? Steve says, high school. Let's get back to this. Okay, at the high school level, at my underground strength gym, I want to see the kids at least once a week, preference twice a week at about 25, 30 minutes. Do they all train that long? No. When they come to the underground, sometimes they train 45 minutes. But near the end of the season, I tone it down. It's shorter. At the high school I coach at, guess what the coach gets to do? Boom, I'm right there. Kids don't have to worry about driving around everywhere. Their parents don't got to do that. So what I'll do is the kids will come in. I'll take like the varsity, and then I'll take the JV. And we'll train them for like 25 minutes. I'll get like a quick warm-up. 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 pull apart, 10 recline row. Do that for 2 rounds of 10. Okay, now we're going to goblet squat for 5, bench for 5, 4 sets. Maybe I'll say 4 sets of 4, okay? Low reps. Usually I don't goblet squat for 4 reps. Then I might say max out on pull-ups, max out on push-ups, 1 set, hit 1 hard set of curls, bring it in, we're out. You know, it might be trap bar deadlift for 3 sets of 5, coupled with squat jumps, coupled with clapping push-ups. 3 sets of 5, or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. So I like to do shorter workouts, sub-max, kind of a minimalist approach. Okay? Well, let's get back to that Q&A here. And by the way, I have in-season wrestling workouts inside the Underground Strength Academy. Go to undergroundstrengthcoach.com, go into the search area and type in-season wrestling or wrestling workouts. Next question. McCain Rogers. What are some ways to train and work around elbow pain? Okay. Elbow pain. Couple of things. Hey, honey, I'm doing a live podcast.
Hi, fam. I gotta get
Get the little one.
Yeah.
Lavana could stay here. So, elbow pain. Couple of things. We could do some soft tissue smashing on the tricep. You could put up a barbell and smash your tricep. There's videos of this done with Kelly Starrett and Donnie Thompson, Super D. I like to use a mini band for tricep pushdowns and extensions from all angles. Get a lot of blood flow going into the tricep and going into the elbow. And we'll also use compression bands. So if you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, we wrap up around above and below the elbow, and then we get some movement going. And body tempering with very light, Christopher from Kabuki Strength has those lighter kind of body tempering rollers. He's got the pain pill and I forget the name of the other one, but you could basically roll out the area. I've done it with a barbell sleeve, and also roll out the bicep and the crook of the bicep where the bicep, attachment is. Because when there's pain, it's usually also above and below the area. So give that a shot. And of course, don't go heavy on pressing and pushing motions. Okay, CD 430. Focus on building a bigger, quote, aerobic engine versus a focus on strength training. So that's not really a question, it's a statement, but here's one thing I'm gonna say with that. If you focus primarily on aerobics and cardio training, you don't get stronger. But if you focus on strength work, that can boost your conditioning. Of course, there's the law of specificity. So it depends what your goals are. If, aerobic versus anaerobic, aerobic is oxygen based. I'm not really going crazy intense. So you want to get in some steady state cardio. I used to actually do a lot of steady state cardio in my bodybuilding and power bodybuilding days. After a workout, I would do like 20 minutes on a Stairmaster. I would go out and jog with my dog, probably 1.5 miles every single day. And sometimes I would run the treadmill on an incline 4 to 6 degrees, or I would do treadmill interval training with running and walking, like 1.5 minutes on, 1.5 minutes of run, 1.5 minutes walk. And that stuff helped me. It helps with recovery. It helps with the fat burning process. Of course, it helps burn calories. And look, being in shape, I always say, there's nothing wrong with being in shape. It doesn't hurt to be in good condition. Where we don't want to be is just in shape with lifting weights. All right. So I would make sure that you're always taking care of your heart, especially the older you get. Strength and Tone asking, what membership site do you use? I wasn't sure if he meant where do I, sign up for, or what software do I use? So he said, well, I like the layout of the new undergroundstrengthcoach.com website, which is Underground Strength Academy. That's a software. I started building that site in 2004. We launched it February of 2005. So we are 15 years in, which is crazy. And that is a software called MemberGate. It's a little bit tricky to utilize. And we do have another membership software for the Underground Strength Coach certification. And I believe that's called Learn Dash, but there's also something called Teachable. There's a lot of different softwares out now, and there's, softwares where you could build an app for yourself, which might be even the better way to go, because then we don't have people stealing and downloading and sharing. I actually had to send Scribd an email. There must have been 25 PDFs of mine that were being shared on Scribd, which I got to admit, disheartening to see thieves doing that. That's a lot of heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears I put into my programs. Somebody buys it and then just shares it for free. And I don't have any respect for the people that do that, okay? This is how I earn a living. I sell information online through downloadable, programs and resources. And so when people just go and share it for free, not good, okay? Not good. Teddy Rasmussen, I love this guy. Teddy's gone to the certification. He's got a new book. Let's see if I got it here on my desk. I got a lot of books on my desk. It's called Work Hard, Feel Good. Great book, Ted Rasmussen. He's been to every seminar I've held at the Underground. He's the kind of guy that, like, if I do another Underground Strength Conference, I will have him speak. Ted's question: how has the friendship that you had with the late Ultimate Warrior impacted your life all these years later? One thing that was important later was to, I guess, come to amends and apologize and reconnect with his manager. And him and I had a falling out after the Warrior passed away. Emotions were running rampant. And so one thing I am not good at, guys, is forgiving. I don't forgive people. I don't forget. I don't forgive. They say you can forgive, but never forget. I often do neither. I hold on to grudges for a long time. I think of him a lot, and I'm not so sure there's lessons I've learned, but sorry, guys, when I start talking a lot, my throat just starts going on me. Some of the things that remind me of him was how he wanted to help so many people, but he also wanted them to help themselves. So, for example, when he created his Ultimate Warrior workout program, there was no workout to follow. It was him kind of guiding you about certain exercises to use, nutrition. It was about mindset. It was about toughness. It was about getting after it. And so I see that a lot in me. And I oftentimes catch myself saying, wow, how much longer can I keep encouraging people to work hard on the basics with intensity? Sometimes I don't even want to talk about that stuff anymore. It's tough. It's tough. And then, of course, the big lesson is you leave things left unsaid. And once Warrior started working with the WWE, we kind of we lost touch. It was a huge business deal that took a lot of work for them to make happen. But once that happened, we lost touch. And so I had missed a phone call from him. He missed one from me. We played phone tag. I still remember his last voicemail was, I'll try you later. And we just kept going back and forth. So our last phone call was just left unsaid. And so it's like the lesson I get from that is here I am working all the time, a lot of work. And I got to tell you guys, the online business for me is harder. It's like I'm doing 20 times the amount of work for like 25% of the return of investment of time compared to what it was 10 years ago. And I'm not sure I want to do that anymore, you know? So there's a big part of me where I remember Warrior didn't like all the online shit because it was a lot of talk. It wasn't a lot of doing. And that's what he was more of a fan of, the work. The work. What's on your bookshelf? Lots of stuff, man. I mean, my bookshelves are bending. Let's see what's on my desk. My desk is a mess. I'm rereading some Dan Kennedy stuff. No BS Wealth Attraction, No BS Time Management. I picked up my friend Logan Gelbrick's book, Going Right. I pulled out an old book, all you Trump haters. It's with Trump and Bill Zinker, called Think Big and Kick Ass. I believe the bookstores or whoever retitled it to Think Big and Kick Butt, like some weak shit like that. And I haven't been reading as much as I like to. You know, I've been quite exhausted by the time I lay down at night. And summertime is very busy for me with the kids, with running around with their sports. And so that's been important to me. Lately, I've been laying down at night and I pass out. I look at my bookshelf. There's a lot of books here unread. I actually tried selling a lot of older books that I had read before and no longer use. I tried selling them on Facebook Marketplace, and not one person would buy them. And I just laughed. I was like, dude, it's so funny. You think people want to learn, but they don't, they don't. So I'll probably put them up on eBay. Next question from Rice Brinners. Are you still drinking tea? And if so, what kind? This is a very important question from a British fan. I love that, man. I appreciate that. And so number one, I drink Earl Grey black tea. That's it. I have 2 bags in the morning with hot water, a little dash of milk, a little splash of honey, and that's it. I have not drank coffee for 2 years, going on 2.5 years. I think this winter will be 3 years. So yeah, man, I don't even drink coffee. How crazy is that? The next question, minor follow-up question by Rice Brinners. When you're making the tea, is the tea bag in the mug or do you use a pot? Again, a very important question. I've been gifted tea pots and things like that, but I have not utilized them. Sometimes my wife does when we have like some family and guests over. She will brew the tea like that. And I just boil hot water and pour it in. My buddy Ray De La News wants to know why no coffee. Well, I actually started drinking coffee around when I met you, Ray, maybe a little bit earlier. My 5th year teaching, I started drinking coffee when I was teaching at TJ middle school. And I remember I was like, oh my God, I've never needed coffee. I need coffee. These kids are crushing me. And then a couple of years ago, my wife just stopped drinking coffee. Remember, it was like bothering her stomach. So she's like, just try tea with me one day. I was like, all right, whatever. I drank tea, and the next day I had zero urge to drink coffee. And this is coming from a guy who would at night set up the coffee making machine for the next day. I was already thinking of coffee the night before. But then by 2 to 3 o'clock, I was like, damn, if I don't get this next cup of coffee, I'm going to be not making it through my next part of the day. And so I did not like that feeling of weakness where I felt like the coffee controlled me. Very much like what I say to people when they're always staring at that phone. I say, hey, how does it feel to know that you're a slave to that phone? That phone owns you. It's stronger than you. So I was like, all right, motherfucker, this fucking coffee is done. It is not stronger than me. And sometimes the coffee would kind of irritate my stomach. Tea does not bother me at all. Okay, last question. The best question actually came last from It's I'm not sure how to say that name. And he said, who inspires you? Simple, great question. My kids inspire me. Big time. I think about my kids and it makes me want to be a savage of getting shit done. Number two, my grandfather. I dedicated my book, my Encyclopedia of Underground Strength, to my grandfather. My grandfather and grandmother escaped the Holocaust. My grandfather was in the Polish army. Then he was in the Russian army. Then the Israeli army. He built his entire house. They had like a kitchen, a bedroom, and a bathroom. He built the rest of the house, built an apartment underneath. He worked a night shift. He worked odd jobs. But like, he was just amazing. He was amazing. My grandfather inspires me. That's it, guys. Okay? Do me a favor. It's been a while. Leave a review. Go to Apple Podcasts for the Strong Life Podcast. When you're listening, all you do is scroll down, and then you could see the reviews, and you could leave a review. Don't just leave 5 stars. Type something up. That helps a lot. Okay? The other thing I want to talk to you about is the Underground Strength Academy is pumping. Go to undergroundstrengthcoach.com. You could sign up there. And then we've got the Underground Strength certification. But don't sign up for the cert right away. Get inside the academy. You'll see there's a discount code at the end of every video or article. $100 off on the certification. Use that discount code. Then we add on another year of the academy. So it's like getting 2 years for one. I mean, it's almost like trading, okay? I think we got another question here. Came in on the Instagram, so I'll answer that. I've been training with some powerlifters 4 days a week, pushing the prowler and doing some sled pulls with a neck harness as active recovery. I'd like to add another day of active recovery. Go for it. Go out and play sports. Go swimming. Go play basketball. Go do yoga. That stuff is amazing. Farmer carry suggestions. I don't think farmer carries are the best for active recovery. If you do them, you got to go very light. But I like recovery to be outside of the gym. Do something that's different than the very thing that you're doing on the regular. Yoga. That's what I need to be getting down to. All right, guys. Go to zachstrength.com. Get your free newsletter, free training courses. There's no newsletter out there like mine. That's the bottom line, kids. Hook up a review and get on over to undergroundstrengthcoach.com. I'm out of here. Thank you, guys. Much respect.